Hello friends and welcome back to the channel. Thank you for clicking on the video if you're new. Today I thought I'd do a video of the working title of I don't think I'll ever find a man that will hold me in my power. I was actually thinking this when I was doing my other video because as I was editing my other video I thought the kind of gist of this message is that alpha men pick beta women, but I'd kind of gone too far into the being quirky for that to really be the message, if you see what I mean. So I thought maybe I should just explain it here instead. Maybe I should just do a video on this. And I feel that this video is probably going to be for my females this week. It's this deep-seated fear that most women have of, will I find someone that can hold me in my power? Am I too much for a man? Will I find someone that accepts that I'm powerful, accepts that I have a voice, accepts that I want to forge my own path? And it really got me thinking, because I was thinking, is it generally true? Is it generally true that alpha men only pick beta women? And obviously I'm not saying that one type of woman is better than the other. I guess I'm just kind of exploring really of, is there space for a so-called alpha man to find a alpha woman attractive? Do they necessarily want the opposite? Do alpha men necessarily want to marry a beta woman? Do all men seek a beta woman that will serve them? Or generally, are there alpha men out there that do crave an alpha female? And I think it's definitely a deep-seated fear for women. And I definitely feel this. The more that my channel is growing, I feel that my pool is getting even smaller than it was originally. Because obviously, when you step into your power as a female, you're naturally drawn to a man that is also within their power. And sadly, not all men seek this in a woman. I remember doing a video a while ago, a couple of years ago, saying only kings pick queens. And I think then I was deep in my spirituality rabbit hole and I was really deep in this divine feminine, divine masculine, tarot reading kind of era. I was really into spirituality at that point, and I think to a certain extent, I had been brainwashed. I do cringe when I see people talking about divine masculine, divine feminine now, because I generally think it is a phase. It is a phase you go through. It's kind of, I feel like it's the phase women go through. Most women are kind of socialized and then they feel that this isn't working for them. And then most women seek something more. They seek spirituality. And I think some spirituality is almost an overcorrection. It's almost an overcorrection of the social conditioning that we already hold. And you go down this divine feminine, divine masculine rabbit hole. And then I think you come out the other side. And I feel like now I've come out of the other side of this. Even in spirituality, I didn't really fit in spirituality. I wasn't divine feminine enough. I wasn't the floaty feminine, divine feminine that loved everyone, loved all animals, loved all things, went out to the world and was like love and light. I don't really fit into that movement because I am probably seen as too masculine for that movement, too opinionated, too strong. And also in spirituality, there's this dark feminine, light feminine movement. And that's why I haven't really made a video about that, because I don't even know if that exists really. I mean, maybe it's true. Maybe there are sides to your character where you can be dark feminine, outspoken, and then there are sides to your character where you can be sweet and kind, which is supposed to be light feminine. But I never really fitted into that box. I never really fitted into that box of being divine feminine. So on the whole, I don't really use terms like this because I feel sadly like it's buzzwords. I generally feel there is too much in society of a man should be this. A man has to be this strong masculine man that doesn't cry, to be seen as divine masculine. There's no wiggle room for anything else. And then you're supposed to be a divine feminine. You're supposed to be loving to everyone, kind to everyone, embody this one love of all things. There's no wiggle room for any anger. There's no wiggle room for any, I don't like this woman. You have to be perfect. I just don't like this talk of polarity and how men are supposed to only like one type of women. That's largely what I don't like about spirituality, is that you're supposed to be one type of woman. And that's not what I am. And this is why I try and just stay off social media, because it can get in your head. If you believed all of social media tells me that I'm too powerful. All of social media tells me don't have a business, a man won't like you. Don't become powerful, a man won't like you. And I think it's only a certain type of men that won't like you. And it is hard as a woman to find men that are comfortable with you being in your power. It's not impossible. I just think it's more difficult, because you need to find a man that is really comfortable with their own ego. You need to find a man that isn't being a performative male. They're not trying to create this facade for other men. Someone that is comfortable in their own self, and they're not interested in picking just the hottest women. The men that just aren't interested in getting the Ferrari. I don't know, sometimes I think men that generally are comfortable and secure with a strong, powerful woman are few and far between. I feel like in the internet space, I mean, thing is, it's hard to judge the internet space, but I feel like in the internet space, the only reference point I can see of a alpha picking an alpha female is probably the Hormozis. That is the only reference point I have. Every other reference point I see is alpha men picking beta women. That's why it's difficult, because it makes you think, am I shooting myself in the foot? Am I in becoming powerful? Am I repelling men? But I generally think it's better to repel 90% of men, and then you're around the 10% of men that do like you, rather than just being the type of woman that every man likes. The type of woman that will just bend over backwards to please a man. Because sadly for a lot of women, all their self-esteem comes from being in a relationship. And it's not their fault. I'm not here to judge. It's the societal impact. It's the societal impact of messaging we're told of stand by your man. Behind every great man, there's a great woman. Even this messaging we're told of supporting your man to the end. That is the female role. The female role is the supporting role for ultimately the man. So if you're a female, you feel, how am I going to find this man that can hold me in my power? Where am I going to find him? And also, as a female, you don't necessarily need to pick an alpha. I've seen plenty of alpha females that are in their power and they pick beta men and they are really happy. That dynamic works for them. So I think people predominantly seek out so-called alphas, and I'm using alpha and beta so you understand the point I'm trying to make. I don't really put people in these binaries. I think it's a bit silly, but largely people tend to seek out these alphas. Like I said in my last video for optics, if a female picks an alpha male, it reflects back on her. It reflects back on her in a better way, because she's managed to secure the alpha. Look at her, look at her. What did she do? She managed to secure the alpha man. She must have some magic vagina. She must have something that other women don't have. Do you see what I mean? It's this ego thing. It's this ego thing of picking the alpha male. And I think that's generally what females thrive on. It's the ego of, I was able to pick and get an alpha male to commit to me. It's the ego. Whereas I don't think all of these women are necessarily happy. They're being performative on Instagram. A lot of women would probably be better with a beta male, but beta males don't pay the bills. It all comes down to money. Most things come to money. People say that most things come down to sex, but I would argue that most things actually come down to money. And people complaining that they're not getting picked, it's usually down to money. You can't really get pissed at women that want men with higher reserves and a higher income when this is the world we live in. We live in a world where it's rigged. We live in a world where the wealth is at the top and it's not shared down, and people are just having to get by and make their own way. It's just how things are. I think for me, it's more about seeking someone intelligent, and intelligence tends to be prerequisite in a alpha male. Obviously, you can get beta males that are intelligent, but I think I'm drawn to someone that is like me. They've created their own business from scratch. They're doing something, they're building something. And obviously I'm going to be attracted to that because that's what I've done. And there'll be a shared communication in that. And also, I'm not speaking for all women. This is just my journey on what I want. I think sometimes people get confused in the comments saying that I'm speaking for all women. I'm just speaking on my experience, and then hopefully people can draw things from that. You by no means need to follow my path or be like me. So I just wanted to make a video for some women that are like me and they feel maybe there is no one to hold me in my power. And it's definitely this phrase that I'm thinking of hold me in my power. That's all that women want, is they just want someone to hold them in their power, not push them down and tell them, no, you can't do that. Otherwise, it's just going to be death by 1,000 cuts. If you're with someone and they slowly chip away at you, telling you can't be something, no, you have to be a certain way. You have to be light feminine. It's one of those videos where generally I don't feel there is an answer. But it's a deep worry of mine, especially where I live now, especially in the UK, in my small town. I will not, this is why I don't date. I will not find someone that will hold me in my power. It is as close to impossible as I think impossible is. That's literally why I put myself online. I put myself online so I can meet more people. I could be around people like me, find my tribe, etc. Is because I'm just where I am now. I'm just a fish out of water. And I think this is a deep-seated feeling for women. Is that should I dim my light? Should I stop being powerful because it repels men? And I just want to say to them that it only repels insecure men. It will not repel a secure man if you stand in your power. And ultimately, I think you'll appeal to less men, but I think they'll probably be higher caliber. They'll be more evolved. They'll be more emotionally secure. And it's one video where there isn't an answer. It's just a deep-seated fear that most women go through if they've built something, if they've built a business, is this fear that I am too powerful for a man. And that's because of social conditioning. That's from social conditioning of the female role being the caretaker role, the female role being the sweet, nurturing role, rather than the dominant, forceful role of building something. I just have to cringe at these binaries we see, because I don't think that women, I mean, obviously I'm not a psychologist, I don't feel like women are innately caregiving people. I think we're socialized to be like this. And I think most of the stuff you see is just a result of socialization. And I reckon that the more you stay in tune with being yourself and who you are, the more likely that will happen for you. Thanks for watching. Love you. Bye.